Good morning, it's Henry reporting here, Friday morning, so prelude to the weekend, all very exciting. Guess where I'm off to? I'm off to the studio. No idea what I'm going to paint this morning. I've got a load of canvases, varying sizes, that are all prepped up, ready to go, so I suppose it'll be a case of whatever takes me really. So I'm going to do that for the next 2 or 3 hours, I suspect. So I might do a portrait, I might do a seascape, I'm not entirely sure yet, but I don't give it a huge amount of thought, I just kind of go with it really, and it just kind of happens, which is rather special, I must say. Like the 2 pictures I did yesterday, they just poured out the end of my paintbrush. It was effortless, it was really lovely. I did two of those paintings, albeit they're 14 inches by 10 inches, so they're quite small. But you know, I started at 10, I was done by 12:30. And that was a bit of a breather for about 5-10 minutes in between pictures, so it was a pretty quick process. And for those of you out there who are quite sort of spiritually inclined and believe in all things to do with spirit, etc., a couple of friends of mine were saying, ooh, I wonder who's working through you when you paint, and it does very much feel like I do give myself over, and I think we all do actually when we find what it is that really makes us tick, and as I refer to it as when we find ourselves in our flow, so that's whether we are a doctor, a nurse, a sculptor, painter, a hairdresser, a flower arranger, you know, a flower person, a florist rather, whether we're good at, I don't know, training dogs. They're just, you know, as you can imagine, there's a huge variety of vocations, as I like to call them, because they are very much a vocation. When you find something that really does, particularly rhubarb, as I like to say, that means, you know, that you've got that passion, that love that you put into whatever it is that you do. And I do believe that when we are in that space and we are beautifully connected like that, I do believe that it's not just our energy that goes into whatever it is that we're creating. I'm a firm believer in that, and I really do believe that we do have help, and a lot of it, which is always very encouraging. We don't tend to notice it so much when the going is good and times are great, but you know, often we all feel it massively when things are up against us. We find ourselves in some kind of internal or external battle, whether it's something to do with health or our mental state or something that's completely out of our own hands. That's when we tend to notice it the most. But understanding that, you know, help is there whenever you need it, and it's just a simple case of 2 things. Is reframing it is something that I've always referred to. You know, always reframe it into something with a positive vibe as opposed to a negative vibe. And as I was saying the other week, it takes a lot more effort to be negative about something than it does to be positive. So that in itself is a good enough reason to reframe. But secondly, is just to ask for help. You know, put it up there. Whether it's a parking space you need, whether it's the best person for the job, whether it's the best deal, whether it's a new place to live, whatever it may be, you know, it's very much about trusting in your own being, in your own intuition. Really does help. And your own intuition obviously is all tapped in to the greater consciousness that we're all part of. So from that perspective, there is so much out there available to us. We've just got to go out there and grab it. It won't just be handed to us on a plate, we have to ask for it. But in the same breath, you know, you can't ask for something and then sit on your bum and expect it to come to you. You still have to be proactive in trying to reach a goal. That's really also very important. That wonderful expression, you know, the Irishman who keeps saying, please God, please let me win the lottery. And he's saying this every week for weeks on end, until one day, Paddy, he was called, let's say for argument's sake, being an Irishman, Paddy suddenly hears a voice. For God's sake, Paddy, I've been hearing your prayers every single week. Why don't you just go out and buy a lottery ticket? And that's really very symbolic to life, really. You know, you have to put, you know, you get tenfold out of whatever you put into life, you know, if your heart's behind it. So from that perspective, we do have to make a bit of an effort, and we do have to try, and we do have to, I suppose, listen to ourselves. But from that perspective, today I'm not going to work. I'm going to something that is a passion of mine, and something that I feel that I could possibly make a bit of a living from going forward. So from that perspective, it's all very exciting. So anyway, I hope all of you out there manage to find something that you're passionate about, something that makes your heart juggle and sing and jump around and leap around with joy and happiness, and you know, get yourself involved in it. And you know, if you make money out of it or you get paid for it, even better. That's all I can say. But anyway, just very briefly, side effects, still a bit achy around the liver area in the lower part of the diaphragm. I assume that's still the chemo, because it would have been 2 days ago now that I would have been given a day in the hospital with the chemo if I'd done another cycle, and I would be in the middle of having a pump connected to me full of 5-FU. So it's rather nice to be sort of pump free and drug free going forward. But anyway, this is my take on today. Do you see my t-shirt, Samurai Spirit? That just about sums it up. Anyway, sending love and hoping that you all have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and I will speak to you tomorrow. God bless. Bye bye.